Today we're going to be talking about Richard Hart. Is it Richard Hart Hex Token, revolutionary, or is it Richard Hart scam? What are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments. But I'm going to share with you my thoughts here on this video. We're going to talk a little bit about Richard Hart. We're talking a little bit about the Hex Token, and I'll kind of wrap it up with what my thoughts are on this entire video. He did this video a few days ago. I encourage you to go listen to this video. He talks about why he doesn't like YouTube. Now, whether you like Richard Hart or not, if you love crypto and you watch crypto YouTube videos, then you may have noticed that YouTube treats cryptocurrency very, very unfairly. And he talks about it in this video. Basically, they remove content. They don't give good explanations. They don't allow you to appeal well. They will appeal certain videos. You'll win. And there's just no rhyme or reason. It doesn't make sense. It literally seems like the reviewers are human reviewers who don't understand crypto. Like some of the channels, some of the videos that have left my channel that I've never gotten back were as mundane as what are the best altcoins for 2019, or why I think Bitcoin is going to be mass adoption. I got a whole playlist where like 2 of the videos got removed, and it's not even clear why they got removed. It's crazy. But then I also got videos that were removed that were talking about things that I would consider maybe in a gray zone, and they got reinstated. It's totally wild. It's just treated unfairly. So he talks about it here, and it's also why those of you that saw my video yesterday where I talked about the 1 million Tron challenge, I'm going to be posting that up on the LBRY platform. You can come join me on LBRY. Just type in crypto wealth up here. I'll put a link in the description for you to check out the LBRY platform. It's basically a decentralized version of YouTube. That's essentially it. And I'll be posting that video up later today. I was hoping I would have it up by this afternoon. It might be early evening. So come follow me on LBRY, and if you want to find out more about my 1 million Tron challenge. But this video, we're talking about Richard Hart. Now, I got him up here on YouTube because it's really the best place to find him and to watch him. Now, he talks about leaving YouTube, but he still puts up some YouTube content. He uses another channel a little bit to do live streams. His live streams are absolutely epic. They are entertaining. Grab you some popcorn. I mean, if you like crypto, I mean, his live streams are amazing. Let me just see. If you come here and come to interviews, this is probably the best place to come to right here, and just watch him destroy people. And it's sad to say that. Oh, these are his interviews. These are his. Oh, here we go. You want to see like his debates? That's what you're looking for. In fact, let me just tell you another way to get there. Let me see if I can find him another way. He's a very interesting character, no question about it. Let me look at his playlist. I just want to give you specifically where you can go. He considers himself a thought leader, which is a great way, I guess, to refer to yourself. I guess it would be under some of his interviews. But if you go back to when he launched Hex, I mean, he just started. All of these back here are probably going to be good. 4 months ago, yeah, all these are going to be good back here. I mean, he does these epic live streams. This one right here, just to show you how bad the trolls are. I mean, he destroys this guy. This guy's a reporter in the crypto space. But you go back and watch him, and basically what he's talking about is his token Hex. Now, Richard Hart used to be a mega pro, like near Bitcoin maximalist, and he says that Bitcoin admittedly has some fundamental problems. Now, I actually think Richard Hart is going to be good for Bitcoin long term. I think it bugs some of the people that he debates. And he clearly has won practically every debate he's ever had, because you cannot deny there are certain issues with Bitcoin that make it a challenge for mass adoption. Now, what I disagree with him on is I think places like Venezuela has proven that mass adoption can happen in spite of some of the challenges that he says are issues. And I also would tell you, I don't think Hex Token, his token, fully solves all of those issues. The biggest one is going to be trust and mass adoption. There's not enough people going to trust Hex. And part of the reason people trust Hex and distrust is because of him. He's a very polarizing figure. But if you watch him with an open mind and you're objective, you can't help but realize he's intelligent. Now, he's not as intelligent as he thinks he is. You also notice that he has quite the ego. But someone who is capable and has an ego, big shout out to Bitcoin for Life. In fact, let me just show you his channel, because he said this and I thought you were exactly right. Hang on a second. Let me find his channel. All right. Come check him out. If you like, I mean, he's in every sort of crazy platform you can imagine. The coronavirus game. I mean, he's in everything. But some of his videos are really good. I think it might have been this one that he talked about. A lot of his videos are good. As you can see, I watch videos on this channel. One of the videos in particular, I think it was here, he was talking about why he thought Bitcoin could win. I mean, Hex Token could win is because it's a game of egos, and it's really about why He says if you look at Bitcoin SV or Bitcoin Cash, they're both run by like megalomaniacs. I mean, guys with enormous egos. And he says, look, Richard Hart's goal is to beat these guys. If nothing else, he's going to beat these guys. And if you know anything about these two, and I won't say their names, if you know anything about the two guys behind these projects, I mean, they're very polarizing, very big egos. I don't know. I probably like to listen to Richard Hart a little bit better. I think he makes a lot more sense by miles on what he says. But he's created this Hex token. And here's the website. The website, you can check it out, hex.win. And it breaks it down. There's a lot of content here. It's a very, very detailed website. So this Hex website is very detailed. It covers a lot of information. It's only gotten more detailed. By the way, here's the token of Hex. Let me just say this. When I say that Richard Hart is polarizing, I mean the haters hate him. And the people who love him absolutely love him. And I'm going to give you sort of my overall viewpoint towards the end of the video on where I'm at with this, and I'll tell you my thoughts overall on Hex. I'm currently not in Hex at this point in time. It doesn't mean that I'm not open to it, and I'll talk about that more as the video progresses. The first high interest blockchain certificate of deposit, that's kind of his claim. Free Bitcoin for Bitcoin holders. If you already have Bitcoin, you can claim and get some free Hex. Hex is designed to increase in value faster than anything else in history. So the goal of Hex is basically, it has a lot of gaming, and you can come watch this whole thing if you want to, but it has a lot of gaming elements. If you understand what game theory is, let me just break down game theory very, very simply. So game theory is the same reason why people play slot machines. So game theory says you can logically understand that you're going to lose, but there can be some elements that can cause you to emotionally make different decisions that can emotionally cause you to make decisions that you logically know are wrong. For example, at a slot machine, you randomly win. That randomness is game theory, because you know that in the long term you're going to lose, but in the short term you might win. And even though you know in the short term only you'll win, most people never stop, because game theory, or most people continue to play periodically, myself included, because game theory says that your emotions will override your logic. And that's essentially what game theory is all about. And it doesn't mean that you're always a loser on game theory. Game theory just means it allows you to get emotionally connected to create an outcome. So here's the key with Hex. They have an adoption amplifier. That's kind of how you get by it. It's how you get in. They have a referral component. I'll put a referral link down below. Feel free to hop in Hex if you want to. I'm not in at this point in time, but I will put a link down below. Why? Because you get 10% bonus, and I get 20% of whatever you ultimately stake. Stakers get the unclaimed Hex. Basically, if people have free Bitcoin and they don't claim it, on day 353, everyone who has Hex staked, you actually have it staked, you're able to get a portion of that Hex that goes unclaimed. I think they call it the big payday. Each week a BTC hodler doesn't claim, they lose 2% of its stakers. Even if they claim, but they claim late, then what ends up happening is they lose 2% each week, and that goes towards this final payoff. Silly whale penalty. If you have 1,000 to 10,000 plus Bitcoin and you claim, you get 50 to 75% of their Hex goes to stakers. So you get basically, they don't get to stake at all, basically. They get penalized if they're a whale, so to speak. If you don't know what Mt. Gox is, basically it was an exchange that went under, and basically they can't claim their Bitcoin. All right, here's some of the staking benefits. Continuous permanent, he says, only increase. Set the maximum ROI any stake ever ended at. I don't fully understand the stake share price. If 1% of stake supply of Hex stake supplies, they average 369% interest. If 2%, then 184%. Again, it's like infinite. It's like there's an infinite supply in theory. Like it's constantly minting more Hex, and there's basically 1% is getting paid out per day. Hex mints up to 3.69% of total supply a year to stakers. Paid daily. If only 1% of Hex staked, the average return is 369% net. Basically, it's going to pay interest every single day. The longer you stake it, the more interest you get paid. You can get up to 3 times your shares in interest, but when they understand the interest is paid in Hex, 3,641 days. You would end up getting 3 times your total staking amount. Up to 10% bonus shares, ending a stake to reinvest its yield. See, this is a great game theory. If you end your stake early to reinvest the yield, it never pays more than just holding the stake longer. So everything in here, they're giving you incentives over and over to hold Hex, over and over again. Truth Engine, 50% of emergency in-stake penalties half your stake days. This just covers the penalty. Minimum 90, can hit principal, 50% of late in stake penalties, 1% of stake per week after a 14-day grace period can hit penalty. Basically, it affects your principal earnings. That's it. It's basically don't end. It's a strong incentive not to end your stakes early. And you can come through and look at the rest of this. It's a lot. I've read through it once. I'll need to read through it 2 or 3 times. It's a lot to go through, but it's very, very interesting. And you can't deny the Hex price is going way up. Okay, look at the price. You can't deny that this has been effective. Now, here's what's interesting. Richard Hart created this in a code. So he basically used a little bit of computer science and a little bit of game theory to create a project that he says, in a lot of ways, fundamentally is better than what Bitcoin offers. And literally, he talks like he's going to take over Bitcoin. Okay, that's beyond ambitious. But anything could happen. It's beyond ambitious. It's going up in the past 24 hours, 22%, 51% for the week, 117% for the month. You can just look at the chart to see that it's been successful. I mean, look at the total chart. So it dropped right away. He always said it could drop, and it's been up, it's been down. It's back up again. It's probably going to pull back again, I think, or it could keep going up. Who knows? Heck, I'm making videos about this. Who knows who else starts making videos about it? But you can't deny that it gets people's attention. The game theory is interesting. It seems like it works. My question is, after the big payday, would a lot of people not dump it? Maybe not. Maybe they just keep staking because they want to keep getting that 1%. But at some point, if people start unstaking to sell, at some point you're just flooding the market. It's almost a hyperinflation scenario. He's creating what the void token and the frag token and the bomb token create when they create. Their whole goal is limiting supply by creating a deflationary token. He's limiting the supply of Hex by I don't want to say artificially because that's not correct, by using computer science and game theory to cause people to keep locking it up longer and longer and longer and longer just to see what happens. How do you actually get Hex? So if you go in, if you go in the link down below, you can click and you'll come to the AA Lobby. You'll get 10% more Hex basically. And what you do is you come here and you have to have MetaMask and you have to have it connected. If you don't know what MetaMask is, you can Google it. If you have Bitcoin, you gotta exchange Bitcoin for Ethereum. You got to use your MetaMask, very similar to your Tron wallet. It works the same way. And then once you have it connected, you're able to see this. And the way it works is, let's just do this. Every day, there's the same amount of Hex essentially put in. 11 million Hex is put into the lobby every single day. And then what happens is it runs 24 hours, 7 hours and 33 minutes left. You enter with however much Ethereum you want. This is how much Ethereum is in there. This is how much Ethereum is in there right now so far. This is where yesterday. So there's more today than yesterday. And you can kind of see the trend of how it's been. There was 700 Ethereum, 1,000. It's been going up. It was 1,000. See, it dropped into hundreds. Back in the thousands. Where were we at the beginning? At the beginning, 21,000, 6,000, 2,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, down to 100. And then it went back up to 1,000, 1,000, 100, 2,000. 2,000, 2,000, and then we're at 3,000, 3,000. It may continue to go up because people are getting results they're talking about, so it may just continue to go up, or it may pull back. Who knows? If you're going to get in, I think the best way to do it is just like dollar cost averaging every week, every day, every month. Just put in a little bit, which is what I would do if I was getting into this. Did I say I was getting into this yet? All right, I'll tell you my thoughts on that toward the end. All you do is come here and you click enter, and then at the end of the day, once the timer is done, you have to come over and click claim. You have to claim it, and then you can stake it. Since I haven't done that, I can't tell you exactly what that looks like, but you can stake it. And when you stake it, you start earning rewards. But if you don't stake it, you still have your Hex. So the key with the good thing about that is you can always sell your Hex on exchanges. So the key with, and if you want to know what exchanges you can sell it at, going back to the Richard Hart website, and you can come through here, and he's got so many resources. He's got active Telegram. The guy is active if he's nothing. If he's nothing else, he's super active on social media. I mean, the Hex is his life for sure. For sure. He has no life, but that's okay. I mean, that's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's his baby. It's his project. And a lot of entrepreneurs do that when they jump into something. And make no mistake about it, the man is an entrepreneur and he's a marketer. Make no mistake about it. When you claim your Hex, I mean, you may be okay with Hex just to hold it and sell in a few days if it keeps going up. Like, you have to, not financial advice, but there's so many ways to play this. Here's my thoughts. First, I'll give you my thoughts on Richard Hart. I kind of like the guy. I mean, he rubs people the wrong way, and I get it. I can see why people don't like him. But if you just get personal differences aside or personal attributes that you don't like, does he have an ego the size of Texas? Absolutely. Does he know that? Of course he does. Just like Justin's son has an ego, the size of China, I guess. One of the reasons I like Tron, and one of the reasons I'm doing the 1 million Tron challenge, is because I believe Justin's son's ego and his know-how. I mean, the guy's capable. If you can't just have an ego with no knowledge. The guy seems to be capable of running a company and running a project. I believe that his ego is one of the reasons to invest, because I don't believe he's going to let it fail. That's just my belief. I could be wrong on that. That's just one of the things I look at that other people don't necessarily look at. Richard Hart, listen, the guy's got an ego the size of Texas, and he's clearly got the know-how. He's not a stupid man to launch this project, nowhere near. And all you have to do is watch his interviews and realize that he dismantles some of the smartest people in Bitcoin. I mean, like, utterly destroys them. It's literally embarrassing to watch some of them because they can't. No, not all of them are like mean interactions. Some of them are, but they're not all like mean interactions or anything like that. It's just like they can't deny what he says. And a lot of them, even the more reasonable people, they're like, yeah, you're right about that. They don't think Hex is the answer, but they're like, yeah, you're right about that. No, I would agree. I don't think Hex is necessarily the answer. A lot of people talk about Richard Hart like he's the next messiah of crypto. Now, here's my concerns with Richard Hart, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on Hex and where I'm at with that. And it may surprise you. Richard Hart is looking out for Richard Hart. Number one, numero uno, in my opinion, no question about it. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. You just have to know that this man is not Gandhi or Mother Teresa. I mean, that's not who he is, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that he can't create something revolutionary, but at the end of the day, when people talk about where's that ETH going, he can't legally say, but he's of course getting that Ethereum. Is that a bad thing? Some people can't stand it. They're almost jealous. It's crazy, but yet there's ICOs, in my opinion, there are ICOs that have been launched that have done absolutely nearly nothing, yet they have made hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions on the low side. And there's very little oversight in a lot of cases. There's a lot of talk about what's going to get developed, but these people have developed nothing. And price in crypto typically goes up more on hype than anything. And I don't like that. I mean, I wish it always went up on fundamentals, but it doesn't. Now, this man has created something that has the ability through game theory. It's by far the best token created around the game theory, period. It's better than anything that's been done in the DApp space when it comes to game theory. It's a really good game theory. But I can't stand that. I think the haters are too strong with no real reason. Now, with this being said, look, do I think that Hex is going to overtake Bitcoin? I don't. Do I think that everybody in the world should hold it indefinitely? I don't. What are my thoughts on Hex? Well, I think Richard Hart's pretty smart. I don't think he's going to let it fail. I don't think that he's necessarily going to dump the price on everybody. I think if nothing else, he'll just sell the Ethereum. But Hex is interesting, and I can't help. I've never been in it at all. I've watched it the entire time. I cannot help but think that, and the reason I haven't gotten into it is because it's just a speculative asset. It's a total experiment. And I just thought, I just don't know. I just don't know about it. I don't see, I didn't know enough about the code, understand it enough. I know it had been audited. I just thought, you know what, let's just watch and see where it goes. And I'm still a little bit like that, but I can't help but love that Hex is doing well. And the people that are disingenuous, what I mean by it, there's investors bias, where you believe in your project because you're financially invested in it, that you can't objectively evaluate another project, or you have to evaluate a competing project negatively because you're fundamentally invested in this project. I believe in Bitcoin. I believe in Bitcoin over Hex personally, 100%. I'm building my entire crypto passive profits business. The whole business is about Bitcoin and earning passive income streams in Bitcoin. My newsletter that I have down in the description, the Crypto Passive Profits newsletter, is all about helping people earn free crypto, helping people earn free Bitcoin. But with that being said, I'm probably going to get into Hex for sure, at least a little bit. It's highly speculative, but you can't deny the gains. I don't know when I'm getting in. I'll let you know when I get in after the fact. But I'm probably going to ultimately dollar cost average in. There is something going on here. You can't deny it. And, and how big am I going in? I don't know yet. I don't know. I mean, right now I'm thinking, maybe I'll throw, $100 at it, $10 at it, $50 at it, somewhere in there. Maybe. Then there's a part of me that's like, I don't know, maybe I'll just drop 1,000 or 10,000 in and just ride it out. Look, it's a gamble of a lifetime, but here's the key. Right now, it's about 8.0008 cents. So 8/10,000th of a cent. Just a few days ago, the doggone thing was sitting at 0.004. So it's a total Hail Mary. But what if that baby goes to like 1 cent, 0.01? What if? Who knows? And it could all go to zero. People could sell like crazy. It's crypto. So when you buy into crypto, invest in crypto, you just got to be careful. I think Richard Hart isn't as smart as he probably thinks he is, but I definitely don't think the guy is full of hot air like some people like to. Do I think he's an outright scammer? No. Do I think he's a marketer? Absolutely, he's a marketer. And he's not a dumb one. I mean, I think he's onto something. I don't know where it goes long term, but I think he's onto something. Stay tuned. If you haven't done so already, I'm going to talk about Richard Hart some more, particularly when I choose to get into Hex. I'm going to talk about what I'm doing, etc. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. If you like Hex, if you like crypto, give it a thumbs up. Also, stay tuned on LBRY. Go check out LBRY. I'll put a link in the description. If you're not on LBRY, get on LBRY this afternoon or later this evening, probably early evening. I'm going to be putting up a video talking about my 1 million Tron challenge. My goal is to save or to freeze 1 million Tron TRX. All right. Thanks for walking, Jim. Remember, crypto equals freedom. Freedom of thought, freedom of expression, but most important, freedom of economics. Crypto equals freedom. Crypto wealth. I'm out.